Believe it or not, I'm assuming most of you are kind of excited about that, hoping 2021 is a little brighter. But with all that said, we are going to get started here now. Let me begin with, we do have a poll set for the day. If Anna, if you want to go ahead and set, let me see here. Got it. Santa is on its way. We open gifts on December 24th, Christmas Eve. That probably should be December 25th, Christmas Day, or other. So let us know what you do, and we'll come back to that here in just a little bit. And we also, let me see, Anna, I know we have a couple surprise guests. Is our first surprise guest on? So this polling question goes with our surprise guest. Is there a Mr. Claus on the line here?
Ho, ho, ho.
Oh, Santa just muted himself.
Ho, 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 ho.
we have been joined by Santa Claus here, so.
Well, Mr. Jacobson, how are you doing?
Hi, Bill.
I'm doing pretty good, as long as I'm on your good list here, your nice list.
You and Ashley then are taking care of those boys? Ho, 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 ho.
Absolutely, we are. It is that time that they are getting pretty excited at this time.
You can tell Maverick and Roger and Trooper that I've been watching them. Ho, 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 ho.
Well, I do have to ask, Santa, do we have any of our fellow Rotarians on the naughty list here?
Oh, I can't tell those kinds of stories, but there's been a few I've noticed that maybe weren't wearing their mask when they should have been. Oh, excuse me, I've got to be politically correct. Their face coverings. Ho, ho, ho. And I hope you're all washing your hands. I got to admit, I like to use that alcohol better. And we all got to tell Winton that rubbing your hands with whiskey doesn't do it. Ho, 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 ho. And it's tough being Santa this time of year without those safe distancing. And I want to thank all those Rotarians that I saw them out there ringing that bell for Salvation Army. Ho, ho, ho!
Well, Santa, that's fabulous. I'm assuming you're kind of busy this time of year. I'm appreciative that you could join our Rotary on such short notice there.
It's my pleasure, and you're right. I got to get back to work, so you Rotarians have a good time. And Dr. Death, you behave yourself. Ho, ho, ho!
Well, thank you very much, Santa. We really appreciated the visit, and you have the best of time here in just about a week and a half. Well, there was one of our special guests was Santa Claus there, so hope you enjoyed Santa. I'm shortcutting here in the chat feature there. I just threw up our upcoming birthdays. We got so many of them because we don't meet back for 3 weeks. So with that said, you can check out the chat feature, wish those folks a happy birthday. I know I saw Rich on here. Rich is the first one coming up. So happy birthday here in 2 days, Mr. Rich. But we also today, I guess call it the end of the year fun. We also happen to have another special guest as well. Gina, are you on here? My friend Gina has a guy that's a little bit on the, he's had a little bit of a rough day, but we'll get to see him here.
Hi, folks. We're so happy to be here. This is Victory Bulldog right here behind me, and he is the official live mascot at Fresno State.
That is awesome, Gina. I'm assuming most of you on this call at some point or another have gotten to see or meet Mr. Victory Bulldog. He is the most lovable, cute little docile thing you can ever imagine, and definitely so excited to have him on our Zoom call today. So Victory, I guess it was kind of a rough weekend for the Bulldogs on the football field, but how's everything else going? It's finals week, right?
Yes, it's finals week. So Victor's just trying to be as encouraging as he can to all of our students who are learning virtually right now. He's got a lot of fun stuff going on social media, and he's just trying to stay busy, trying to connect.
That's awesome. Well, appreciate Victory coming in and saying hi today. He is quite adorable. And for those of you who have not had the pleasure of meeting him, hopefully after this whole COVID thing gets done, you'll be able to see him at a Fresno State event. He's all over the place. Gina is, am I saying this right? His full-time, what's your official title?
That's a good question. My official title is Live Mascot Program Coordinator. I wear a lot of fun hats.
Absolutely. And everybody kind of, take a picture in your head of Gina, because you're going to see a picture of here in just a second with a whole different other thing. But Gina, thanks so much for bringing him on here today. Wanted to have some fun, and he's the perfect cheery thing to get us into holiday spirit.
Of course. Everyone have a great meeting. Thanks for having us.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
And now, actually, I'm going to skip around a little bit here. I'm going to go to an introduction, but Mr. Harrington, do I got you? Yeah, go ahead. I'm going to.
Yeah, I'm here, Ryan.
Perfect. Would you like to do a presentation that we were going to do?
Sure, well, hold on just a second.
I'm holding on. You can probably wonder, so they're kind of in the same building, but Dick is going over by Miss Anna here.
Oops.
Oh, here. There you go.
There we- Anna, on behalf of the Rotary Club of Fresno and all of our members, thank you for all you do for our club, and best wishes for a happy new year and a Merry Christmas. And here's a small token of our appreciation and some flowers for you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna, for everything you do. You're getting lots of virtual hands here, so thank you so much. Obviously, make the club work great, and I guess you earned your salary here in 2020 as we went through what we've done so far. So appreciate it. Thanks so much. And Dick, thank you for taking that on. Moving on now, this is one of my greatest pleasures to get to do in this club, and that's welcoming new members. And this one happens to be one that I brought in, so that makes it even more special with me. Mr. Blake, you're on here, I believe.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. Well, give me just a second here, and I am going to share a screen. Give me, let me see here. Hopefully everybody sees that. Blake, well, welcome to the Rotary Club of Fresno. We're going to start with a few questions here so you can tell people about yourself. So tell us about, first and foremost, what is your career?
Definitely. Well, thanks. Thank you, Ryan, and very happy to be a new member of the Fresno Rotary Club. Very excited about it. My career, I guess, I'm the communications director for State Senator Andreas Forges, and kind of how I got into this path and into the role that I'm in right now. I started out at Fresno State. I'm a proud Fresno State Bulldog. Was very interested kind of in government and helping people through government, and then eventually ended up in my current role after living in Sacramento and Washington DC. Ended up back home in Fresno, and now I'm in my current job.
Yeah, and Fresno State, like I said, you were kind of important over there, right? At least for 1 year.
I don't know about important, but I guess we're similar in the respect that you were a former student body president, and I'm also a former student body president as well at Fresno State. So that was a really fun job.
No, that's fantastic. That's terrific. Maybe if you want to, on that left-hand side, is that the which group is that there?
So on the left, that's just my family over at Fresno City Hall. That was just for being involved at Fresno State, and family and friends that came and were supporting me. And so I thought that was just kind of a cool photo, because that's kind of my team, my pack that helps support me, and everybody has a village of supporters behind them. So I just felt like that was an important part of me, and I wanted to share that photo.
And I love this one picture because I have my two Zoom bombs back to back. I got Larry Salinas, that was last week, and I got Victor E. Bulldog for this week.
Yep, that's right. And
Absolutely.
I guess fun fact, is Gina, who you just saw a few moments ago, is actually my fiance. So Fresno is a small town, and so we're both proud Fresno State Bulldogs. And I guess Victor E. is kind of my adopted dog in a way, because I get to see him a lot.
And that's why I told everybody to make sure they pay attention to her, because they were going to see a photo here later on. So you guys, do you have a date set for next year yet?
Yeah, we do. April 24th next year.
Fantastic. Well, that's coming up pretty quickly here. So, Well, Blake, we appreciate you joining the Rotary Club of Fresno. Excited to have you on board, and we'll be seeing you a whole lot more of you, hopefully.
Absolutely. Thanks, and happy to be a part of the club.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Blake. And with that, moving on to Miss Ashley Webster. Are you on here?
I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Absolutely.
All right. Hey, everybody. Hope you're having a great Monday. Just another announcement regarding our warming kit project. It's our fourth annual this year. And I just want to let everybody know that we're going to be purchasing sweatshirts, socks, hats, and some gift cards for the kids of the youth kids at CASA. We love doing this every year, a part of the Rotary Club, and we encourage you all to, if you can, maybe donate a little bit to this project. That way we can give 115 kits to these kids that need it the most. So kits run about $30 each. And if you would like to donate, please contact myself or Anna. Thank you, and I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Thanks so much, Ashley. That's terrific. Appreciate that. I skipped over this a little bit earlier because I didn't know he was actually on here, and he may or may not be able to get himself unmuted here. But do we have Dick Johansson? Dick, you're on the phone here or on the Zoom call? Well, anyways, they may or may not be able to talk, but he's on the call here. Just want to wish him, this Thursday is his 95th birthday. So pretty amazing, obviously an amazing individual for this community and has done an incredible amount for our Rotary Club. So Mr. Dick, if you hear us out there, happy birthday from all us Rotarians. Appreciate all you do there. And I also want to give a quick condolence to Ed Darden, who lost his mother here recently. So I want to pass on our condolences from the club there as well. Now I'm going to go back to Mr. Harrington, who has got some very, very important club business for us.
Thank you, President Ryan. As you recall, on Monday, November 23rd, the Rotary Club of Fresno Nominating Committee, which, as you all know, was elected by the membership of the club and consists of chair, myself, and members Shirley Brugman, Paula Casadio, Maureen Lewis, Nicole Linder, Blair Looney, Robert Oliver, Anna Pine, Todd Scheller, Gordy Webster, and Patty White. And by virtue of their positions as an officer of the club, President Ryan Jacobson and President-elect Karen Musson reported their recommendations of those individuals of the club to serve as officers and directors of the club for 2021, 22, and beyond. Also at the same meeting, the procedures to name additional nominations were outlined. No such additional nominations were received. Therefore, on behalf of the nominating committee, I'm pleased to make the following motion. To serve as directors of the club for a 2-year term commencing July 1st, 2021, Corey Jackson, Darren Rose, Valerie Vulich, Richard Bruchucci, and Ashley Webster Rudolph. To serve as secretary of the club for the fiscal year 2021-22, Nicole Linder. To serve as treasurer of the club for the fiscal year 21-22, Dick Harrington, and to serve as president of the club for the fiscal year 2022-23, Blair Looney. I would like a second to that motion if I could.
Yeah,
I second.
I got a second. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thumbs up works too. Hands, thank you, yes. The most important thing on Zoom is there any opposition to that?
It's too late. They had to make
yeah, there you go.
Well, long before this date.
Keep them on mute.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you, Dick. Big congrats to all of those folks, but particularly Mr. Blair. Those are one of the, you know what, Blair, your name needs to be on there. And so we're excited to have you. You have a couple words you'd like to say?
Well, I'd just like to again say thank you very much for this opportunity to carry on the family tradition that was started by my grandfather, Charles Looney Sr., followed by my father. And I'm looking forward to being the first Looney not named Charles to be president of a Rotary Club.
And Blair, I got it. You posted it on Facebook. You got a nice little Christmas tie on today too, right? It's kind of hard to tell from Zoom,
got Rudy Rudolph, the leader of the pack.
That's awesome. Well, congrats to everybody. Congrats, President-elect Blair Looney. Excited to work with all of you going into the future there, and particularly as we start to be hopefully back in person next year. And then we can move on as well. There's also one more announcement. Mike.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Roll with it.
As reported on Monday, November 23rd, the Rotary Club of Fresno Foundation Nominating Committee, consisting of Michelle Cantwell-Kofer, Mike Falge, Claude Laval, and President Ryan Jacobson, nominated Claude Laval for a 3-year term commencing July 1. Therefore, I move the nomination as stated.
Fantastic. You're motioning that. I'm assuming there's a second out there somewhere.
Second.
Perfect. We got a second.
Excellent.
All those in favor, aye. Thumbs up.
Aye.
Something works.
Aye.
Congrats to Claude. Look forward to him serving another 3 years. He's done a fantastic job, and appreciate all he does and contributes to our organization there. Mike, thanks so much.
No problem.
And now it is my honor to introduce one of my fellow Rotarians, Tim Ritchie, who is going to introduce our speaker for today. Tim, go ahead. Take it away.
Thank you, Ryan. Hello, everyone. It's my pleasure today to introduce our speaker. As many of you know, as we've talked before, the local news business has seen profound change in recent years. It has struggled through slow and steady decline that has only accelerated as a result of the pandemic that we're in. Microsoft, one of the world's leading innovators and premier technology companies, believes that a healthy democracy requires healthy journalism. They recognize that technology has played a role in the disruption of news, but believe it can also play an important part of the rebuilding effort as well. And to achieve this, Microsoft has launched an initiative that brings together assets from across their company and works collaboratively with partners to help protect and promote journalism, local news, and a free, well-funded press. To get started, Microsoft has announced 6 communities across the country as part of a pilot effort. We're proud to say that Fresno is one of those communities. This effort will bring added technology, consulting, and reporting resources to help have an impact in this region. Here to share this vision with you is Eric Prock. Eric is based in Redmond, Washington. He is currently the Senior Director of Public Affairs and Journalism Initiatives at Microsoft. Eric has been with Microsoft for 11 years and has served in various capacities, including Senior Director of Brand Strategies for Microsoft News. Prior to Microsoft, Eric worked with top national technology and media companies, including Real Networks and McCann Erickson. Eric has a BA degree in journalism from the University of Oregon. Now, let me encourage all of us old Bulldog fans to recall fond memories of the Jim Sweeney days, which, by the way, was the last time we beat Oregon. And let's show our guest a warm red wave welcome. Eric, welcome to Fresno.
All right, thank you very much, Tim, and thank you, Ryan, as well, for this opportunity to speak to everybody. I will go fairly quickly through a couple of slides. I'm going to share my screen right now. I'm going to make sure that everybody can see it. Ryan, do you want me to give me the okay that you can see those slides?
We're great.
All right, fantastic. All right, so when I give this presentation, the first question I usually get is why Microsoft? You know, Microsoft's an enterprise software, company, and journalism and sort of the news business is a little bit far afield from that. And so one of the things I do is ground people in the significant business that Microsoft has in the news industry. Go ahead and go to the next slide here. All right, so with Microsoft News and the Microsoft News platform, we reach roughly about 500 million news readers worldwide. We do it across a whole bunch of canvases that you all might be familiar with. MSN is the one that most people recognize. That's been around for more than 25 years and is a central resource for hundreds of millions of news readers every day. But news as a channel for Microsoft exists in a lot of different places, across the Windows ecosystem, across our browser, across our apps. Wherever you see news within Microsoft, it's delivered by the Microsoft News platform. However, we do not have any journalists. We don't have any reporters or writers or producers. we deliver other people's news and other companies' news. We actually do that in about 180 countries in 32 languages. And like I said, we reach 500 million readers worldwide. And according to ComScore, that makes us one of the largest distributors of news in the world. About 100 million of those are in the US. And so news is a very important business to Microsoft. And in order to deliver that news, we have to have relationships with news publishers. We have about 1,200 news publishers in which we have contractual relationships where we take their content in and monetize it and share the revenue back to them. Those 1,200 publishers account for about 4,500 media brands worldwide. So if you think about a news brand, they're most likely a Microsoft News partner. They send us about 200,000 stories and articles and images a day that we have to ingest in our system and then send out in customized news feeds to those hundreds of millions of users. Over the last 6 years, we've been able to generate about $1 billion in revenue for our partners that we share back with them. Unfortunately, in that relationship with those publishers, we've learned, as Tim mentioned in his opening statement, that the revenue that we generate is nice, but it's not moving the needle at all. It's not changing the dynamic in terms of failures in the business model, layoffs, closures of publications, a failure in trust in the media, particularly at the national level, and then issues with security of journalists, their physical safety, their legal safety, and their data. And so as Tim said, we started asking questions inside of Microsoft, what more could we do beyond just delivering that revenue, which was nice, but like I said, was not changing the dynamic in terms of the decline. And we found some interested individuals within the organization, particularly Brad Smith, the president of the company, who was concerned about what the fall or sort of the crisis in journalism would do to democracy as a whole. And so we got together and started talking about what we could do. And obviously in that time, the pandemic hit, which only accelerated the decline in the news business. And so the concern was even greater at that time. And so we came together and talked about how we as a company as a whole, and not just the news business, could help support the journalism and news industry. As Tim said, technology has played a part in the disruption of news, but Brad and the company feels like it can play an important role in rebuilding the news. Brad wrote a blog post at the beginning of 2020 in which he described the most important tech policy issues facing Microsoft. We have been lobbying him for several years to include the crisis in journalism in that list. And in 2020, he not only included it in the list, he put it as number 3 in terms of the most important issue facing Microsoft and Microsoft's sort of tech policy. And you can see here in the headline that he was very clear that technology, including Microsoft, needs to give the news business a boost. And so we set about trying to figure out how we could go ahead and do that. We looked at 3 different areas: the business model of journalism, the integrity and trust within journalism, and then the security of journalism, and developed programs, some of which Tim has mentioned, in each one of these buckets to go out and test and experiment what may work and what may be effective. And as part of that, in the business model pillar, we selected 6 cities across the US in which we would come and work on the ground in the community to try and provide them resources and technology and training that would help sort of turn the tide in terms of the collapse of local news. And when we chose local news, we chose it for the reason that when you look at the data, the news that is most trusted still is local news. And so we felt like if we could start there with that foundation and help regrow and rebuild local news, we could then take it up to regional and even national news. And when we chose the cities, we did not choose ones that were news deserts, meaning that the news ecosystem has completely gone away. We thought that that was too heavy of a lift to take on right away, and that we needed to learn more about what might work before we did that. And so you can see in these areas, we did pick areas that we don't traditionally see a lot of funding and philanthropic support for, but that weren't complete news deserts. So we could test a lot of the theories and test a lot of the resources that we think can help and see if they prove valuable, and then go to some other markets and expand it. And so much like other programs that Microsoft does in this arena, we partnered with the community foundations, the universities, and the newsrooms in each one of these locations to really work at a community level to try and tackle this, to understand what was at stake, what could help, how do we partner, how do we drive collaboration in order to find the interventions that are going to be the most successful. And as Tim mentioned, this is the list of the resources that we think are going to be helpful, but we don't know for sure at this moment. There could be others. One of the most important things is fostering collaboration amongst the newsrooms and amongst the community. That has already proven to be extremely important in this process. Of course, providing funding is super important. That funding component can help support existing journalists, bring in new reporters, expand coverage in critical areas. Leveling up in technology, Microsoft obviously is very good at this and has a lot of access to software and services, both free and discounted, depending on if we're working with a nonprofit news organization or for-profit. And then building capacity, training, education, business intelligence, teaching about modern journalism and data journalism, things that drive compelling engagements when it comes to news. Additional elements include expanded distribution. So how can we get the news of Fresno or Jackson out to more people, not only in Jackson or in Fresno, but in the surrounding areas and even nationally, depending on the coverage. And then finally, we found it very important when we talked to the community about what could really help is legal support. Unfortunately, this program is only available in Washington and California at this point. So Fresno and the Washington markets will be able to take advantage of it. We hope to expand it nationally because we see a great deal of response to this. We did this work with the help of Tim and others in the community over the last couple months prior to announcing any of it. In October, that was the first announcement that we made, and you can actually see it here, and you can go and read more on Microsoft's website about it. We wanted to get a lot of this underway and going in the market before we started talking about it. And ever since we did announce it, we've seen many more communities interested in seeing if they can also benefit from these resources. Fresno is by far the furthest along of the 6 pilot markets. They have been the most proactive and the most enthusiastic and are very close to actually generating content and stories that are important to the community that we'll use as a centerpiece to get more funding and get more resources to apply not only to Fresno, but other locations in California and other states. And so that was a very brief overview of the program. I tried to do it very quickly, Ryan, so we could take some questions if that makes sense. But Tim, if you want to also add to that as well, I think that that's a pretty good snapshot.
Actually, Eric, thank you for that because we do have the time. Tim, would you maybe just a little bit talk about the Fresno specific component of this?
Yeah, well, I can't thank Eric enough. Enjoyed working with him, and the commitment that Microsoft is making is absolutely spot on and very much appreciated. So what it really means for us, and here's what I'm enthused about, is working with the Community Foundation and also with Valley Public Radio, Joe Moore over there, Hugo Morales at Radio Bilingua. We've started to put together this Central Valley News Collaborative that will be the heart of this. And there's still a lot to work out. We are in the development phase still, but really excited about the collaboration with this group and the support that Microsoft is bringing and the commitment, candidly, that we've seen by Ashley and the Community Foundation. They have been just a tremendous partner in this. So still being defined as to exactly what this looks like. I think we're learning, we're building it while the bus is moving here, as they say, but certainly looking at added resources, all the things that he mentioned. The thing that we're really focused on is COVID, and I know everybody's heard a lot about COVID, and we're probably tired of talking about it, but as this thing changes, I mean, our world has changed profoundly because of this pandemic. What's the recovery going to look like? And what does that look like as we come out of this, particularly on those underserved communities and ethnic communities? So that is one of the things that we as a collaborative are starting to focus on, to see what we can learn about that, what we can share, what we can report on there. So those are some of the things that I see. Stay tuned. I'll do my best to keep you posted on this effort, and again, excited to see us progress.
Oh, thank you, Tim. Yeah, and Eric, great presentation. You talked about the metrics that are in place that you're kind of watching, and Fresno being kind of on the indicator for that. But what are those general metrics, and then how do you measure success? Because I'm a big believer in local news. I mean, it is critical to not only for good governance, but just for community involvement. But with that changing dynamic, I mean, how do you measure success, knowing success changes with that?
You bet. Great question, Ryan. So we look at a couple outcomes that are super important to us. One is the collaboration across the newsrooms. Can we develop a structure that allows them to work together to raise all the boats? We don't typically see that at the local level. We are seeing it now, which may be an indication of the impact of the crisis. The willingness to work together, to share coverage, to engage with the community would be a huge step forward in terms of developing a foundation in which the collaborative could survive after Microsoft sort of moves to another community. Another indicator is the use of technology and the use of advanced storytelling. If we can see that consistently in the marketplace, the use of data journalism, the uses of audio and video, and other ways that drive particularly younger news readers into engaging with the news is super important. The development of hybrid business models using not only advertising, but also subscriptions and community funded journalism. If we can develop the muscle around that in each one of these communities so that they can go out and secure community funding at the local and regional level, after Microsoft has been able to do that in sort of the first couple of years of the initiative, then that would also be a measure of success. And then finally, the content itself. Are the stories that they're developing having a positive impact on the community? Are they changing the dynamic? Are they focusing on solutions? Are they making a healthy democracy thrive in those communities? Those are all areas that we'll be looking at.
Well, fantastic. And I got another question here. The lack of trust in the media is profound among many groups. While I applaud the effort, how do you address the ongoing lack of trust?
You bet. So trust is going to be tackled in two ways. One is a technology solution. So Microsoft, as well as many other tech providers, have solutions in place that will track content, indicate when it's manipulated, stop attacks and other sort of bad actors in the space. The problem is that the technology is increasing so quickly that we consider that an arms race in which we will get better, they will improve, we will get better, and we'll never really be able to solve the problem completely with the technology solution. So we also think media literacy is super important. And so we're developing curriculum that can be shared at all age levels that teach people how to make more informed decisions about the news that they consume, and to check and verify on their own the quality of that content, the transparency of those news organizations, so that together we hope that both those things can combat that issue successfully.
Great. I got another question here was sent to me. How does Microsoft also plan on handling reporting that they don't agree with? We're seeing many social outlets dropping any news that it doesn't agree with their agenda.
So we don't make any decisions in regards to editorial coverage, particularly in regards to this initiative. This initiative is about capacity and funding. All the decisions around editorial coverage are the newsroom's decisions and the community foundation. And so in specific to this, we don't have any sort of objectives or goals in regards to coverage. And in terms of our platform itself, we have 1,200 publishers and 4,500 brands. So if you think about that landscape, we have every voice out there. We have the left, we have the right, we have the middle. And so we let our users decide. You can actually choose to mute a certain publisher or certain network if you don't want to see them on the platform. So we try to show as many voices as possible and let the user decide.
And that kind of answered my next question, but it was, how does Microsoft intend on bringing back journalistic integrity so that it's balanced?
Yes. And so we really don't want to make that decision. Microsoft shouldn't play in that space. What we should do is provide access to high quality, trusted, fact-based news. And so our partners, if they fit that criteria, their content gets shown to our hundreds of millions of users, and those users get to decide, do they still want to see that content or do they want to see content from someone else?
Yeah, and this is all very appropriate. I might as well mention Jim Bourne. We got you on the line here,
yes.
And I think it's very appropriate. At least, would you like to say a couple words?
Yeah, I'll jump in. Thank you. I mean, I think this is a great initiative. Fresno State Journalism Program and the and the Institute for Media Public Trust at Fresno State are a partner, and we're very supportive of this. When Eric talks about media literacy, that's right in our wheelhouse, and determining ways to be more trustworthy. We want to build trust between news consumers and media outlets through transparency and bring all voices into the conversation, be accessible to all points of view, and mainly empowering news consumers to be able to make choices they want to make about the kind of content and the value of it. So we're working hard on that. We've got on our website 8 tips to identify fake news. You can see that at mediaandpublictrust.com. And we want to weigh in from an academic point of view about this issue. I know that that this is a big challenge in our country today because of all the divisions, and so we're trying to be that referee in the middle.
No, thank you, Jim. Appreciate that. I saw you on here, and it was too good not to take advantage of.
Thanks.
Eric, any final thoughts there?
Oh, just again, a thank you to Tim and to Ashley at the Community Foundation. Fresno is going to be our shining light example as we go and look to do this in other communities. And so even though Tim indicated that we're early on in this process, we feel strongly that Fresno is going to sort of lead the way. So thank you, Fresno.
Well, I appreciate it, Eric, and thank you so much for taking the time now. Let's give a round of applause. I know it's virtual, you won't hear it, but really appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule. Tim, thank you for arranging this. This was fantastic. Very hot topic, timely topic, and with all the changes, as Tim mentioned earlier, with the pandemic and what it's forced, and there is some creativity coming out of it, and that's what's great to see out of this partnership, and so very, very excited for that. So thank you guys once again. Let's see here. Moving on, we are going to wrap up our poll here. And so let me see here, share the results. So by far, spectacularly in the charge there is Christmas Day was the #1 when most people opened their presents. I will tell you, I had my, let's see, my 5-year-old yesterday asking when he gets his early Christmas gift, because he felt that he should get at least one present early. So it's that time of year where kids get really excited. And so great, and hoping all of you have a great time opening those gifts here in just about 10 or 11 days now. Moving on back to, I guess he's the popular guy of the day, Mr. Dick Harrington. You got it for a third time. You got the microphone.
Thank you, President Ryan. Dwayne Oswald, I think you're on board. Will you make sure you're unmuted?
Right, there we go.
There we go. Dwayne's been a member of our club since 12/21/05, so he's a member for 15 years, a multi-Paul Harris Fellow, as well as a multi-Fresno Fellow. Dwayne, tell us a little bit about your experience in Rotary and whatever else you'd like to share with the club.
All right, well, thank you for the opportunity. Well, being in this Rotary Club has just been a fantastic experience for me, and I've really enjoyed the involvement in the community and the support that we have for the community. Highlights of my year were great. I was just cleaning out the garage the other day, and I found a banner from the District 5230. We were Club of the Year 16-17, my year, which was very exciting. And also having the opportunity to go to Korea was also exciting. It's been a while since I've updated you on where I'm at. Last year, 2019, Kathy and I celebrated our 50th wedding anniversary. It was a great celebration with family, and so we had a good time. And then in January of this year, I retired. However, I think that's probably been the wrong time because I'm learning that retirement should be more than just sitting at home doing nothing. So I've had a lot of projects around the house, but it's a little different in this pandemic. And one of the most difficult things in this pandemic is getting together with family. And that's always been very important to us. And so we've missed interacting with our grandkids as they've been growing up very rapidly. Just the change since we've been able to see them physically over the year has been dramatic. We did have an opportunity. Oh, I think there's a couple pictures coming on. Yeah, we have gotten together a couple times, socially distanced and with masks, and then been enjoying. Owen on the left is our 5-year-old, and Remy on the right is 3. And there are Grandma and Grandpa at the zoo with the grandkids. Grandpa had to rest a little bit. The mileage got to him. So anyway, it's fun, and we're looking forward to continued getting closer with the family over the next few months as we get out of this pandemic, and looking forward to fellowshipping with all of you physically as we get back together, and hopefully that will be sometime next year. So I'd like to ring the bell twice. One for grandkids and tremendous family activities, and the second is for being a member of this Rotary Club of Fresno. It's been a great experience. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dwayne. That's appreciated. Those funds will go to good service in our community project avenues of service, and will help do what we do in the community. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Jeremy Ward, I think you're on board too, aren't you? Would you unmute? Jeremy? Well, he was there. Jeremy? Well, we'll pass him for a second, but I do want to mention that
I think we're waiting for him to go take Anna's microphone here.
Go ahead.
is Jeremy there?
No, I'm not finding him.
Okay, just to pass you, this is a freebie. Jason Anoid, are you on board from the Fresno Grizzlies? Unmute yourself, would you a minute?
What's up, everyone? How are you?
Congratulations on your successful completion of negotiation for the Fresno Grizzlies and staying here in Fresno. The community will be well served. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dick. I really appreciate that. Well above my head, but fortunately to have the Grizzlies here, and the Colorado Rockies for at least the next 10 years.
Well, thank you very much for all you do, and we're looking forward to many years of the Fresno Grizzlies remaining here in Fresno. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Jeremy, we'll give you one more shot. Are you still on?
Doesn't look like it. We'll tackle him next meeting. Well, fantastic. Well, thank you, Dick, once again. And for all of you who have some new Rotarians that have news to share, please let us know. We'll be happy to have you share that great news with your fellow Rotarians. We are going to be now dark for the next 2 Mondays because of Christmas and New Year's. So you get the biggest break of the year is going to take place. So please don't show up for the next 2 weeks. But on January 4th, we're going to have the incoming president for the Fresno City Council, Luis Chavez, who's going to be joining us. I'm excited to have Luis simply because we're going to have him early in the cycle. There's a lot going on with local governments, pandemic driven particularly, but for budgets and everything else. We had Councilmember Arias there about 6 months ago, so it's going to be kind of a neat to see what the update is on what's going on with City Council and what their upcoming year looks like there. So please join us for then. And now we're going back to Miss Anna Pine, who is going to draw the winning ticket for our cookie jar winner.
Well, thank you everybody for who participated in the raffle today. Thank you to Shirley Grace for the cookie jar and the cookies. And this goes to all of our club projects, Boys and Girls Club, Marjorie Mason Center, scholarships, and the winner is Anna Bajian.
And congrats. Yes, that is fabulous. You get that cute little cookie jar and some cookies go along with it. So with that said, Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy holidays. And you all have a great new year. That's it for 2020. Appreciate all of you and getting through this rough year. It's going to start out rough for 2021, but I'm sure there's greater things to come around the corner there. So with that, see y'all soon. Thank you so much.
Hey, Gary.